UT Martin head coach Jason Simpson. The Skyhawks moved up in the polls, now 18-23 in the polls after a 4-1 start, 4-0 against the FCS, now 1-0 in the association with a win over Tennessee State. They're going to go to Eastern Illinois, who is also now ranked in the polls. So, Coach, some thoughts on your team, and then we'll go to some questions.
All right, great. Obviously pleased with the win. It was a hard-fought game. Coach George's done a really good job with his team and his program. They're a quality team. Some things that I thought were pretty unique about the game. You hold them to 10 points, with no turnovers, or we got no turnovers. Okay. So that was, I thought pretty unique. I think both teams kept hitting each other backwards, deep. We would punt, we would pin them inside the 15. They would get multiple first downs and then punt it back to us. And, now we got to go 80 yards. Okay. So although we had a lot of, almost 500 yards, they did a good job of keeping us out of the end zone. We botched a field goal. Didn't do it, but they had a good plan and we didn't execute, or I didn't call very good plays in the red zone. So we had to settle for two field goals, but, proud of our defense. I believe that's 3 weeks in a row that they've shut teams out in the second half. So very pleased with that. Sam Franklin, was, got dinged up on the first play or one of the first plays in the first quarter on a reverse and kind of banged his shoulder, it was painful, but to his credit, he got back in the game second half and still made a big impact on the game and played through, some pain, tough player, good player, and was able to get us out with a win.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll go to some questions. If you have a question, let me know down in the chat and I can call on you. We'll go to Dan first from Prairie State Pigskin, who covers EIU.
Morning, Coach. Good to see you again.
Hey, Dan.
Well, you mentioned Sam Franklin. I just looked up his stats leading the FCS in rushing, and I know you're not so much concerned with stats, but what has really put him at the position he's at this year, in your opinion?
He's worked hard. It really has. He had a lot of ability last year and had a lot of big runs. So we knew the home run capability was there. He's really taken the coaching, been intentful in his improvement of playing the position, of being consistent in his steps, consistent in his reads. He's in this building a lot, meeting with us around his class schedule. He's very driven to play a perfect game. He'll see a mistake and he'll be harder on himself than I would be on him. And he'll tell you there's still some improvement that he'll continue to make. He missed the pass protection, this week and got our quarterback hit, but there's nobody that cares more about doing their job than he does. And the offensive line has been, open up some holes for him and getting him to the second level. With that injury this past week, he couldn't really, use his off arm and use his stiff arm. And usually you don't see him get tackled, third level. Tennessee State did a good job getting him down this week.
I'm going to ask you one more. You've obviously been reviewing Eastern Illinois on film. What has impressed you about them this year as compared to last year?
They were impressive to me on tape last year. I mean, we had a tough game and we only won 34-31 here at home. And, we were playing for a conference championship and they were not. So they were very impressive last year. Coach, when you create a certain belief system, okay, and Coach has done a good job with that and you win a lot of close games, I think that creates a certain, like I referred to, a belief system, and they're finding ways to win. They're playing good defense. They're getting turnovers. I think they're scoring 21 points but only giving up 18. And therefore those last 3 games, those close games, finding a way to win. So, those are things that you all try to create. We all try to create within our program. Through the season is, you're always playing for the perfect game and to dominate people doesn't always work out like that, but can you find a way to get it done? And they've been doing that.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
And we'll go to Casey next. Casey, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. I'm Casey. I'm going to be on the sidelines for ESPN Plus this weekend. I just wanted to ask you about, you mentioned that belief system from Eastern that you've noticed. So off the field, obviously, I know you guys are a pretty complete football team right now. Your O-line is really physical, really strong. But off the field, what has been the belief system for you guys? What's been the motto? What is the focus kind of outside of that in practice?
It's even though, I mean, we've got a lot of returning players that, have been a part of winning the last 2 years, but there's a lot of, this is our third different quarterback in the last 3 years, third different starting quarterback. So, all this is new to him with as far as our program. All right. Sam Franklin wasn't our starting running back last year, got a new center, got, 3 or 4 new receivers, new tight, one of the new tight end, so some of this stuff is all new for the guys, but our old guys have done a good job of kind of, setting a standard of what the practice is supposed to look like, what the grind during the week is supposed to look like to be able to prepare, to perform your best on Saturday. Of just trying to get to, the proverbial 1-0 on the week. As a head coach, you're always reminding those things, but what the leaders of this football team, the Geo, the Dots, the Tevin Ships, the O'Shea Bakers, the guys that have been here and done and been a part of those 2 back-to-back conference championships. What they say in the locker room will go a lot farther than what I say.
Coach, one quick follow-up on that. Thank you so much. I talked about your O-line, and Coach Wilkes even said, they're pretty physical. They're big on film. So who on that O-line has impressed you? Who stands out? Who's kind of leading the charge there?
I mean, every week there's a new guy that plays better than that, and that's a good thing. Gavin Olson's been starting for us for 5 years. Lamar Moore at left tackle, Lamar Morgan for 3 years. Drake is new at the right guard. Van Avery's new at the center. Josiah Tingley starting at the left guard. This is his first year to start. So there's 3 new guys on that offensive line. Kevin Bannon, our offensive line coach, has done a great job with that group. So I'm, every week those 5 been lining up and giving us an opportunity.
Thank you.
Coach, going back to your first year, that's the last time that both of these teams are ranked and they played each other. But you have had some good games over the years, and with rivalries and changing conferences, this is a team you've played consistently over the years. So you just talk about the rivalry aspect and playing them every year, and just some of those matchups you've had with the IU.
Yeah, no doubt. It was kind of neat. We had Alex Atkins here this weekend for our Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and Alex is currently the offensive coordinator at Florida State. So we were talking about that game in 2006. It was a great game. Coach Spoo was actually sick, and I don't believe he was present at that game. And it was a really, really physical game. I don't know exactly what the stats were. I don't even remember the score. We were fortunate to get a win, but I think both teams probably threw the ball less than 10 times apiece, probably. And that was back in the day that, most of us were 2 back and underneath center and real physical, but really a good game. And those guys talking, a lot of teammates on that 06 team were back, and they were talking about that game. So, and then I remember it wasn't too long ago, I don't know how many years ago it was, but UT Martin finally had won their first road game against EIU. So hadn't had a whole lot of success there. So, it'll be a challenge. Schedule us for homecoming. All right. So, there's that. And they got a good football team this year. So I'm sure I look forward to, capitalizing on that.
Anybody else? Any other questions for Coach Simpson?
Coach, I do have one more. It's Casey again. You guys have now gone 6 second half quarters without being scored on. Can you talk about just the stamina in the second half that your guys have shown? Like what changes in the locker room after halftime?
Well, I'd like to tell you that, there's some great secret formula that goes with that. Sometimes the best thing, sometimes you make some changes. Sometimes the best thing you can do is not make any changes, but just play better. And so I think it's a combination of both. Our defense coordinator, Brandon Butcher, is doing a good job with that, of knowing, what we need to do to whether it's, a new scheme, a new blitz, or an adjustment in the alignment, or just play better. Our plans are good, so it's a combination of both those things. But ultimately, I'll give our credit to the players of. That's a mature group on defense, and they take a lot of pride, and they've been performing well. Now some of it is we're not just dominating. Okay, we've been fortunate on some things, just like any team that wins a bunch of games. You need some things to go your way, and so hopefully that will continue to carry over.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you again next week.
Hey, you got some basketball coming up probably this afternoon?